Welcome back. This is the 11th segment of Making Sense for 7 Minutes, which is a summer-long series, Monday through Friday, where we are surveying in bite-sized pieces our historical narrative as recorded in the Bible. And, as always, asking the immeasurably relevant question, so what? Well, we noted that when Adam ate the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which incidentally, as recorded in the 2nd and 3rd chapter of Genesis, he had been forbidden to do. The most catastrophic event in the history of mankind took place. Sin, the corruption, the disease, the putrid contamination that is sin, entered our world. And nothing in the created order was left unscathed. Now, that means that famine, floods, flat tires are all a part of what we refer to as living in a fallen world. The event that took place, that catastrophic event, is referred to as the fall. Well, of all the things that were impacted by sin and damaged by sin, the greatest damage and the most what word am I looking for? Costliest damage is in the area of relationships. It is in broken relationships where you and I experience the greatest pain and suffering. It's in broken relationships that we find our hearts wrenched the most and our insides twisted, and it's broken relationships that make us lie awake at night and cry. Now, we see the pattern of the brokenness in relationships, this very same pattern that you and I experience, displayed in the lives of Adam and Eve. Because some things never change. Again, it's recorded in the 3rd chapter of Genesis, and it reads, "Then the man and his wife heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And they hid from the Lord God among the trees of the garden. But the Lord God called to the man and said, 'Where are you?' He answered, 'I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked. So I hid.' And he said, 'Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?' The man said, 'The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it.'" Now, if you examine and study this scenario, you're going to discover that the pattern goes something like this. Well, it goes exactly like this. There's a breakdown first in their relationship with God. And then, inevitably, unavoidably, comes a breakdown in their relationship with themselves. Adam with Adam, Eve with Eve. And then, inevitably, unavoidably, there is a breakdown in their relationship with others, each other. Now, what I want to suggest to you is that you and I experience the very same pattern in our lives and relationships to some extent every time we rebel and disobey God's instructions. Whenever we sin, there is inevitably, unavoidably, to some extent, a breakdown in our relationship with God, which inevitably, unavoidably, to some extent, leads to a breakdown in our relationship with other people, which then inevitably, unavoidably leads to a breakdown in our relationship with ourselves, okay? Breakdown in our relationship with God, breakdown in our relationship with ourselves, and then inevitably, unavoidably, you got that? Leads to a breakdown in our relationship with others. Now, the question is, why does this pattern take place as it does inevitably, unavoidably, to a certain extent? Well, since I'm running out of time, I can't tell you right now. We can't explore that right now. But with the little bit of extra time you have, go ahead and think about it, or smoke them if you've got them. Thanks, y'all.